Yes. It's time for Survival of the Fittest is the soup du jour. I'm Chef Roberto Trevino, and I'm bringing you this podcast from the Sunshine State of Florida. We love it here. I love it here. We have such a great restaurant scene here in Orlando in particular. I mean, Florida in general. I mean, you can go to some small towns all over Florida, on the West Coast, on the East Coast, Central Florida, Southern Florida, Northern Florida, and you'll find some great chefs and great restaurants. So, it's kind of a culinary state. And I think it always has been. You remember I was in the 90s when South Beach became, like the absolute, like people talked about it. It was such like a magical thing. People would say like, no. I remember I was back in California then in San Francisco, and I remember some of these two guys from Garde Manger, they were from the dining room. They were super really talented guys, but they did a lot of, they were like both like either Thai or Vietnamese, but they had incredible knife skills and they did beautiful work. And I remember they were going to go to Miami, to South Beach for that big movement. And I was like, wow. And they talked about it like, yeah. And, back then everyone was like, everyone's making a ton of money. All the chefs are making big bucks. So definitely Florida has always been a culinary state. And it had that sort of allure back in the 90s when South Beach was just kind of blowing up. And everyone wanted a piece of that. And all the restaurants, I remember, some of my cooks would move to Miami and they'd call back and they'd tell me how things are going. They'd say to me, oh, chef, we do like 600 covers a night. It was unfathomable. I was just like, what? I mean, how do you do that? And, now it's just become such the standard. It's crazy how the business changed so much. But I love it. I continue to work it and continue to try to increase those numbers. Because ultimately, it's guest in seats, to say it nicely, is what really kind of makes it work for the entire operation. So definitely 600 plus covers a day. That's a pretty successful restaurant. Thanks to Orlando Brewing, we're here having a nice, cool IPA, the I4 IPA, which I absolutely love. Thanks to John and to all our friends over at Orlando Brewing, who have made the official announcement that they're going to be moving the brewery from their current location to a new location, literally across the street from, what's the name of the stadium? Esperia? Well, I mean, it's the Orlando City Soccer Stadium, but it has a name. If someone can, share that with us, that'd be nice. But it's going to be an amazing spot. So, definitely have to... I've already heard there's going to be some F&B, not only beverage, but some food, the F and the F&B, that would be kind of moving into that space as well with them. So this could be that place, pre and post matches. And, of course, John always has a very welcoming feel at the Orlando Brewing. So the new place, I'm sure will have that old place's feeling, because I just have a feeling it will. And it's going to have good food options as well. So, wow, that's big news. And I'm looking forward to that and wish them all the best and love them and enjoying this I4 IPA. Another big sip before I keep talking my stuff. That's delicious. All right. Chefs often think, and restaurateurs, they often think like, and maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but let's get to it. Do I really need social media? Yes. I would have to say that it's kind of a no-brainer these days. Everyone's doing it. What's important, though, is you realize that, that this is just absolute free real estate in the digital world, where you are actually exposing what you do in the kitchen, what your servers do. You don't get to taste or smell the food, but you get to see it. You get to hear about your different special events. And your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, really all platforms, even if you have a YouTube channel, whatever the case, is absolutely essential these days in the restaurant. As a matter of fact, the people need to see that you're real. They need to see that you're talented, that you're as talented as you think you are, you know? And these new, I mean, you know how often I interview chefs now and young cooks, and they say, they give you their Instagram pictures so you can see my work. And I think it's cool. At first, the first time I was ever told that, I thought it was a little arrogant. And I was like, what? Are you serious? But over time, I realized that it is indeed that. It is that tool that is so important to get what you do out there. And that has it's become the norm that someone look at you and say to you, you know, check out my Facebook page. Check out my Instagram. You'll see my work. And that's cool. Now, keep it real. I'm sure some people have messed up by giving their Instagram pages to their possible future boss when, you know, they have like all the other stuff that goes with it. I mean, it's important to have like, you know, I like to have my professional page and my more artistic page, let's just call it, the one that I get artistic on. and whatever the case, I mean, that's the way that is. So be careful, but definitely share that and know that you must cultivate your online presence, your social media presence, so that your brand becomes as real as your food, as real as your vision, as real as your desires to be amazing and your passion to cook wonderfully. And those things, you know, I think you need to really kind of definitely cultivate your social media presence. So take this as not advice, but as maybe a confirmation that you need to move on to that. And continue, if you already are doing it, continue to do it and do it well and really kind of elevate your brand. So let's see here, another big sip of this. I think we're in an interesting point where, you know, like professionally, where I think you can actually get out there and do a seminar, if you will, on how people should, what to do and not to do in the restaurant business. I've often thought about doing it. I don't know if I have the guts, you know, to stand in front of like 200 or 300 people and just chat, because I mean, they're amazing. I've been to some of these, like, I don't know, I don't want to call it self-help, but sort of business or inspirational speakers, and they're really, really good at it, you know? And I say to myself, wow, I wonder if you could ever pull something like that off. And I've often thought of different formats to share, you know, and I've thought, you know, maybe this is something worth looking into, you know, a getaway maybe, a weekend of, or even just one afternoon, a seminar in different parts of the country. I think people need it. I think people are looking for that. I think, especially when you're like in a niche profession, and I think the restaurant business and being a chef and being a restaurateur is indeed a niche profession. And when you can, you know, we've seen a lot of the big events, and, you know, other than like a restaurant convention that just feels so, ugh, you know, you go to the restaurant show and everyone goes to the restaurant show. And they get all that food and they see all the latest equipment and everyone tries to sell them on a million things. But you always leave there going like, ugh. You know, I feel like I'm just overwhelmed with it. I would say something different, almost like a business spa retreat, you know, without all the massage and all the aromatherapy, but like wellness almost, like a wellness of your business, of your profession. And getting together and bringing new people together and bringing inspiring speakers to share with all these new and young entrepreneurs and chefs and restaurateurs. I think that's what's called for. I mean, this is an open call. I don't say like, oh, I'm going to do it. If you got the guts, then do it. And, give me a call. I'll help you. I'll go there. I'll do some speaking because I don't mind speaking. But I think maybe it's called for. I think we should look into that. And if you have any suggestions or if you want to be part of it, let us know. Reach out to us on Instagram at Chef Roberto Trevino, perdona. And or Facebook as well, Chef Roberto Trevino, and follow us on Patreon. Join us. We are definitely doing our thing there for $5. Yeah, you're allowed to be part of all of this. All right, and we share some interesting content, some different content. So it's definitely worth looking into. Check it out if you like it. Then join us. We do personal mentorship and these things that I think. Sometimes people just need that. Sometimes they just need a confirmation that they're doing it right, for God's sake. So definitely join us on Patreon. We're on 18 platforms. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Music. We're all over the place. And we're so blessed and so thankful. We love that because we're just exposed out there so more people can listen to us from New York to California, from Texas to Canada, from España, and London, hello, London, to Puerto Rico, and everywhere in between. We're definitely around. So we're on 18 different platforms, so listen to us. We're out there. And Japan, we got someone reached out from Japan, so that was so cool. I was like, wait a minute, am I big in Japan? I've always said that. You make it big in Japan. I mean, this song, of course, the song from the 80s, but you make it big in Japan, you made it. It's kind of like, well, you know what? And I'll say the same thing about Puerto Rico because Puerto Rico has that power. It's got like this immense star power where if you make it in PR, you can really make it anywhere. I think Japan, definitely big in Japan. And let's see, where else? Well, I mean, New York's New York, for God's sake. New York has changed so much. I mean, I can't believe it. And everyone tells me it's changed a lot. We'll see what happens, I mean, it's the capital of the world if you ask me. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not even gonna attempt that. I'd like to, arigato to my friends in Japan, by the way. Oh, and I love carrying Ichiban. That's a great beer. So, just saying. But going back to New York, I think that we'll see what happens in New York. I think there's a lot of other cities that are definitely making noise and stuff. And New York is New York. You'll never take that crown from that city. It's like Paris. It's like London. It's New York. It's Tokyo. It's San Juan. It's Mexico City. It's Orlando. These are the great cities of the world. And I say that, Orlando continues to hold the ranking as number one destination in the United States in the summer of 2021. And I think that's amazing. I think, it can only mean positive things for this city and definitely all its residents and, the trickle down of all that tourist money that comes onto the island. What a trip, right? But that just goes to show you where I've spent a large portion of my life on the island of Puerto Rico. Pero, Orlando's just blessed to have all this tourism. And, Puerto Rico, too. I think Puerto Rico is kind of like set up to really do well with tourism again. As soon as I think things, just slightly get easier, with the Rona, then I think Puerto Rico's just going to come back roaring. And, it's just such a spectacular destination, with great chefs and great restaurants. So many food options, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is what it is. But it's an exciting destination, and I always recommend people to go there. I can't wait to go back. I'll be back there soon. Working on some interesting things out there as well that I'll be willing to share with all of you soon. I'm still kind of keeping it quiet, but some interesting stuff going on, and I'm definitely very excited about that. So San Juan, always in my heart, definitely mi casa. Can't wait to go home and have some arroz y habichuela, pero en Puerto Rico, because you can have them here in Orlando, you can have them in Miami, you can have them in New York, and no es igual. You have them in Puerto Rico, and there's just a certain something about the rice and beans down there. And you say, like, rice and beans? Really, bro? Yeah, really. That good. Fried egg, that's my money right there. That's the jackpot. Oh, I need a sip of this stuff. Jackpot with arroz, habichuela y un huevo frito encima. Olvídate. Nuevo, new, the world. And then, I would go to this place. I forget the name of the place. I don't think I ever knew the name of the place, quite frankly, but it's in La Placita de la Roosevelt. Okay, that's in like Atorrey. Yeah, it's Atorrey, technically. Yeah, it's Atorrey. And it's just a little plaza. It actually has chickens and roosters and houses that surround it, and a couple of old banks, and a lot of little restaurants, a lot of little breakfast and lunch joints that have just been there forever. And you say, I guess it's a destination, It's a cool little area. But I would go to this place, and I would go there all the time, and I would get arroz habichuela a caballo, meaning fried egg on top, con carne guisa. Okay? When I say carne guisa, I think you know where I'm coming from, all right? I'm talking criollo, and I'm talking delicioso, mi gente. Oye, qué rico. Unos cantos ahí de carne con papita y recao, ni se diga, y calabacita. Oye, man, una cosa que nomás hablando de esto me da hambre. I mean, I'm starving all of a sudden just thinking about how delicious that was. So I would go there, and I would get like 4 tostones, that amazing carne guisada, arroz habichuela, el huevo frito encima. I mean, we're talking that's a king meal, all right? That's king meal. Okay, cacique style, y'all. And I enjoyed, and it could be 10 in the morning, and I would want that. And I would, because it's a counter, and you just kind of you order your stuff and whatever. They charge you, but I would say, ponme 4 medallas en hielo. Put 4 medallas for me on ice, because that's what I'm going to have with my big, carne guisada. It's a stewed beef, rice and beans, fried egg, and 4 medallas and 4 tostones. Thank you. Check, please. Done. And you know what I'm going to go do? Sleep again, because that's a huge meal, and I love it. So I'm looking back, and go to La Placita de la Roosevelt and find this little spot. It's on the, let's say, on the eastern side of the plaza, and you'll see it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I hope they're still open. When I go back to Puerto Rico, I'm going to make a special trip there, and I'm going to do the podcast from there, just because we talked about it. Rick, Havoc Media, Rick, of course. You down with going to Puerto Rico and recording at that space in the La Placita Roosevelt just to have that meal? And we'll have it verbatim for all of us. We'll have to each have that exact setup. Arroz habichuela, fried egg, carne guisa, 4 medallas, y 4 tostones. You down? He down. All right, so that's coming soon, everybody. Well, I'm happy to say that I'm very excited about what I'm doing professionally. I can't complain. I thank God every day. And I hope that you heed my advice to really nurture your social media. All right? And do your best to be the best. And never sell yourself short, and never change your mind when you've decided it's the right thing to do. Stick to your guns and go with it. Go with it. Don't hold back. It's one chance in this life. Life is wonderful. It's beautiful, but it is short and it is fragile. So live the moment and do amazing things for yourself. Nurture your social media. Do the right thing. Be a great chef. Be a great restaurateur. Be a great human and make this world worth it for all of us. I'll do my part. You do your part, and we will win. Everybody, this is Survival of the Fittest is the soup du jour. I'm Chef Roberto Trevino, live from Lake Nona, soon in Puerto Rico, in La Placita Roosevelt. We're going to go eat, and I love y'all. We'll see you soon. Take care.